there are so many times that I wanted to give up, so many doors that were closed, so many times that things were taken from me, that, no's I've heard, so many injustices and so on. But I'm so proud that I didn't care. Yeah. I said, I don't care what anyone thinks about starting a law firm right out of law school or going to law school, taking on all that debt. I just don't care what people think because it feels right to me. A virtual firm, all these like things that I'm thinking of doing and people are saying no. I'm proud that I said yes. Watch.
Welcome to the Diverse Network podcast. Thank you everyone for joining me today. Through the podcast, we help discover and support multicultural leaders, executives, and entrepreneurs.
I want people to move in a way that is going to inspire them to keep moving. Whatever gets that heart rate up, just do it. It'll lead to more things.
My definition of networking is this. If you called me and asked me for something, I would do it just because of our relationship. If I called you and asked you for something, you would do it just because of our relationship. It's just sure, I can help you out with that because you asked me.
Learn how they use a mindset of growth to overcome adversity in the midst of change. Welcome to the Diverse Network podcast. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Through the podcast, we help people discover and support multicultural leaders, executives, and entrepreneurs. Coming live from the podcast studio here at the Sycamore, today I get to welcome Gaea Cassatly, managing and founding attorney of GK Law Co. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. If you've been enjoying these podcasts, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and follow button. Gaea, I'm super excited for our conversation, especially helping our audience learn how to use a mindset of growth to overcome adversity in the midst of change. So, and we actually got connected through my network, which is awesome. Your friend Stephanie connected us. So shout out to Stephanie. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So it's just been fun being able to build and grow a diverse network, and it's cool getting connected with you, learning your story. So just tell us a little bit more. How did you go from being a girl growing up in Syria to coming over to the States, going to law school, and then starting your own law firm? Tell us the story behind that.
Yes. Okay. Well, first of all, I do want to give a quick shout out to Stephanie Cedeno as well. She is a great friend of mine, one of the first friends I made in the U.S.
Wow.
And she's been just a great person to have around. Lots of integrity, very motivated. And of course, she's great at networking and just meeting people, right? So I don't know, my story is like pretty long and just there's been quite a bit of adversity and you just get kind of used to it, you know? So my family and I immigrated from Syria a very long time ago. We went to Canada first, and then in 97, we came to the US, to Ohio. And, my life was pretty basic, like you can imagine, growing up as a child, playing. But one thing I always knew is my parents went through a lot of financial hardship. I was very aware of that at a very young age. And so I always had a very planned out path to go to school. Yeah. When I was growing up, going to college was the way to go, right? Yeah. I don't know if it was the same for you, but I'm a little bit older than you. It was very much, going to college. So I didn't have a very solid plan. I just know I was going to go to college. So I did. I went to Ohio State and go Bucks. And then during my last year at Ohio State, a couple friends and I, and it was actually someone I was in a relationship with, we ended up starting a business.
Wow.
And,
okay.
Yeah. And it was a hookah bar. It became very successful, but just the process of starting it, I really enjoyed. I found entrepreneurship is something I'm super passionate about. The idea that, you can come to the US, you can create this business and you can catapult yourself out of poverty, out of whatever, and create something you're proud of and enjoy. Yeah. So that's something I had an experience, and it was great. I wanted some more corporate experience. So then I ended up going to Target. I was the HR executive there for a couple years. And this was a blessing in disguise, okay? Because this was in Greene, Ohio. Okay. Do you know where Greene is? Like Northeast Ohio.
Okay.
It wasn't very diverse, the location I was at. And there were a lot of crazy things that happened to me for being Middle Eastern. Wow. Comments my boss would make about certain hairstyles I would wear, which I know you look at me now and you're like, really? Yeah, it would just be because my hair was curly. She would say it was unkept. It'll be like silly things like that.
Yeah.
But there were other things that happened throughout where the management team would try to like fire a lot of the employees for whatever. They woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
Crazy.
And I kept, fighting for my team. That's what HR does, right?
Yeah.
But I would do that by looking up the law.
Right. Okay.
And I'd Google and I would look up policy and all that. And I would say, you can't do this because this is what the law says. I felt very empowered by that ability to be able to help people based off of things that are written down.
Yeah.
Okay. That did not rub management the right way, because eventually there were a group of Middle Eastern people who came into the store and wanted to make a very large purchase.
Yeah.
They didn't speak very good English, so they spoke Arabic. I went and I cleared that with my manager. I said, is that okay? It's like a $10,000 transaction.
Dang. And Target.
What they do is innocent. They basically were buying like PlayStations or Xboxes and selling them.
Resale. Yep.
Yep. And so I cleared this. I said, they're going to come in tomorrow. Is this okay? Yes, whatever. They come in. I process a transaction as an executive. I'm speaking in Arabic. And then the team, they go to my boss the next day and say they felt uncomfortable with me processing this transaction. They think something was wrong.
Wow.
Because I was talking in Arabic the whole time. In that situation, I thought my boss would, support me.
Yeah.
Instead, I ended up getting, what did they call it? Basically, they put me on leave from work for 3 days so that they can investigate the situation.
Wow.
And eventually I ended up I quit, but I knew I was going to get fired.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because I spoke Arabic and my team felt uncomfortable. And I said, why did you guys feel uncomfortable? Like, why is this something I'm getting punished for?
Right.
And they said, well, as HR, you can't have people who don't trust you. Your team needs to be able to trust you. So they kind of spun it in that way.
Interesting.
But long story short, throughout this process, I was feeling very defeated, but also empowered by understanding my rights and the law.
Yeah.
And fighting for myself. And I scared them. I went all the way up to the directors. I'm like, you guys are about to have a lawsuit on your
right.
I scared them. And then it got me thinking to the business that I helped start my senior year and what I got out of it. And realizing oh my God, as I got older, as I understood the legal system in the US, the more power I had.
Yeah.
And I looked back and I said, that is so sad that I didn't know this before.
Sure.
So I decided, you know what? I'm going to dedicate my life to help educate people, to give them that same power, which is the law, understanding the law.
Wow. I love it. So that's really what gave you the idea and passion. That experience, even though it's a very negative experience and sometimes traumatic too, but to be able to understand this is what you're truly passionate about, and it gave you a why behind it, and you need it. You need that why, you need that passion, especially in the work that you're doing, being in law and having that type of empowerment. Wow, what a story. I love that.
Thank you. And it's such a long story because I really don't believe there's one thing that puts you where you are today. It's a series of events. You know what I mean? So for me, that's what it was. It was a lot of no's, a lot of adversity, a lot of doors being shut for me to prove to myself, it doesn't matter. I can still make it happen. I can create my own path, my own doors. It came down to sitting down and saying, what feels right to me? What is my purpose? What is my calling? And how can I create a career that fits that?
Yeah. I love it. Very, very empowering to hear that, for sure. Inspiring, no doubt, to hear that story. And before we kind of talk more into you starting the actual business, I actually saw that you had a campaign for your company that you started, Come Mango With Us. Tell us the story behind that.
Oh my gosh. I know that was the hookah bar that I helped start back in the day, and social media was very new back then. So we were just trying to figure out how to have, in our business plan was to have a social media following.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I can't even tell you what I was thinking, but literally it was just a catchy phrase. And I'm instead of saying come smoke with us or come tango with us, it was let's just come mango with us.
Ooh.
Mango is the name of the hookah bar,
Yeah.
Mango's Cafe.
Yeah, which is still alive, right? It's still around, right?
It's still around. It survived.
So you helped start Mango's Cafe?
Yes.
What?
It's awesome.
Oh, yeah, that's dope. Shout out to Mango Cafe. I mean, spend a couple nights there. It's chill. It's a great vibe. Yeah, it's a great vibe. Great hookah bar that they have out there. They have a nice little patio too that they kind of expand into. But that's dope. Come Mango With Us.
Yes.
Do they still use it?
Yeah, it's still the hashtag. They're still pretty big on Instagram,
Yeah.
on Facebook. And actually, they have a second location. They've expanded. So they survived the 2008 recession,
Yep.
what we went through in 2020, the pandemic, and they were able to expand to a second location.
Wow.
So it's really cool business. One of the best things we did there that I enjoyed was we implemented Lean Six Sigma
Yep.
ideologies into Mangoes to try to make it as efficient as possible.
Yeah.
And so really, it's just a very well-run business.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I love it. I love it. That's cool. That's really cool. And I did not know that
You
about
did
you.
your homework, huh? That's cool.
Yeah. We do our research
Yeah.
here, you know.
That's awesome.
Gotta love doing that. But being, taking that experience, which is really cool, because I think that's the best thing about starting businesses is that you're able to leave your impact, right? And even after you leave, it's been probably 12 plus years since you've been involved with them. And to see them that they're still around, that they still use your hashtag, and then how that carried into your experience at Target, and then you worked at Chase for a little bit, and then you launched your career. What was the deciding factor that you're like, all right, I'm going to go get my law degree and then go pursue this?
Yeah. Okay. So I said I was feeling empowered with the law, right?
Yeah.
And I remember sitting down and I was talking to Brian about how I want to be a lawyer. I'm like, this is great. I can do this and help people and protect people's jobs and all this very great righteous stuff,
Yeah.
And he was like, go to law school then. And I was studying for my MBA at the time.
Okay.
And I was like, go to law school. I could never become a lawyer. I want to, but I could never do it. It seems so hard.
Yeah.
When you grow up in a certain culture, community where you don't know any other attorneys,
Right.
it seems so impossible to become an attorney or a doctor or anything that takes a lot of dedication in school. Okay.
Yeah.
I had that mindset.
Yeah.
And he was like, what? It is so easy. Just do it. And literally that's it. That's what it took. It took somebody saying it's easy. Just do it. And I said, oh, okay, I'll try it. So I started studying for the LSAT. And believe it or not, becoming a lawyer was a whole challenge in itself. Having to get accepted into law school, get good grades on the LSAT. I had pretty bad grades in undergrad.
What were you doing all throughout college? Come on, Gaea.
I was not partying. If that's what you mean. There were a lot of things that happened in undergrad for me. 2011 is when the Syrian civil war started.
Oh, wow.
And it was pretty bad in the beginning and in the middle. So I have a lot of family in Syria.
Wow.
And so it took a big toll on me.
I
and I partied more than I stayed focused. Sometimes people go through adversity and in that moment, they focus their energy into something positive.
Yeah.
I did the opposite. And I know I was smart because when I needed to get my grades up to graduate, I would get them all the way up.
Right.
I failed Arabic class. Arabic is my first language. So just to put it out there, I was not doing my best in undergrad.
Yeah. And sometimes it's you're smart, but when you don't, get yourself up there or hold yourself to the certain standards or apply yourself, right?
That's right.
Anybody can let that slip.
Yeah. There's a lot of people like that, right? Where you're so intelligent, but you don't apply yourself.
Yeah.
So basically, I had somebody tell me it was easy. If I can do it, you can do it type conversation. And so I said, let me go for it. And I became very hyper focused on getting into law school, tunnel vision, going to the admissions office. I started with Capital, saying, what do I need to do to get accepted? Here's my GPA. I have had work experience. I worked for 4 years. What do I need to do to become a better candidate to get accepted? Because from what they saw, they were not going to accept me. Okay, they told me you need to volunteer. You need to work on your resume, work on these other skills on just having a better resume outside of your undergrad grades.
Yeah.
So I did. I applied. I got a lot of no's and I just needed one yes. And I got a yes and I went for it. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I have a lot of good friends that are lawyers. And shout out to you guys. I'm going to be honest. I could never go through that. I'm going to just say it. That's why you have good lawyer friends to keep you out of trouble, and I'm just out here doing business. And I just don't think I could ever go back to school in general. And especially like I would say like, English was my worst subject, growing up in high school, but now being able to have great conversations with lawyers and make friends, it's great connecting with people like that. And I've heard it's some of the hardest 3 years of your life. So what did it take to get across the finish line? Once you started law school, and what made you want to start your own business right out the gate?
Right. What were you thinking?
Right.
I don't know, but no. First of all, to make it through law school, you have to have tunnel vision. You have to focus and you have to sacrifice. And hear me when I say sacrifice. You are going to say no to your family often, to your friends. These are your 20s where you have people out having the time of their life and you need to study. It's non-negotiable. You want to pass, you got to study. You're reading hundreds of pages per night. Like, it's ridiculous,
Wow.
So there's that part of it, dedication, sacrifice, being comfortable with that, saying no to people, understanding the bigger goal. And then the other part is just like staying cool, calm, and collected mentally.
Yeah.
Because law school will challenge you mentally. There's people who are constantly competing for big law. Big law is shoved down your throat since year one.
Wow.
You're told you need to go make 6 figures right away. You need to have the best grades. You need to be at the top of your class. Okay, this is what you're programmed to think. So it's very competitive in law school. Mentally, you need to understand that you're on your own journey. You cannot compare yourself to anyone. It becomes very hostile,
Yeah.
And you just keep going. Just believe in yourself, be confident, and keep going. So I had to constantly remind myself of who I am, how smart I am, my capabilities, and that I'm on my own journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought my first year that I wanted what everyone else was saying.
Yeah.
I bought into it. You know, I'm going to get the best grades and I'm going to work at big law and I'm going to make 6 figures right off the bat. But the first year I got good grades and I was interviewing for places, and I wasn't like vibing with the people I was interviewing with, and I wasn't getting offers very easily. They would always pick someone else over me. Then I joined this like diverse program that they had where basically they leave like a pool of jobs for diverse applicants, right? These big firms want to bring on a law clerk who's diverse. And I didn't even get that. So I said, what's wrong with me? So I would talk to the attorneys who interviewed me and get feedback from them.
Wow, that's really good.
So I was trying to think, how can I be better? How can I be better? Well, my second year of law school, I said, do I really need to fit in? Is there a reason God is not giving me this?
Right.
I have good grades. I have work experience. I'm articulate. I'm intelligent.
Yeah.
I understand business. I have all these good skills. I speak multiple languages. Is there a reason God is saying no? Why are all these doors getting shut? My second year, I started my business plan to start my own firm.
Oh, I love it.
I said, you know what? I think I'm meant to do my own thing and shake up the legal industry. I don't think I'm meant to fit in.
Yeah.
I think I'm meant to stand out and have people who also stand out work with me.
I love
and
it.
give them that space.
Yeah.
So I actually saw a business plan I started in my second year, and I had started by writing the business owner for Mango's Cafe, the person I worked with.
Yeah.
I said, hey, I have this idea. Do you think this could work? It's a virtual law firm. And he was like, I think so. I don't know too much about the service industry, but maybe. And I was like, I think so.
Just need that one yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So that's it. I started, and it just really came with not feeling like what was out there was made for me.
That's really good. And you got to be able to pave your own path and also have people supporting you, because it's a tough journey. It's lonely sometimes, and it's a roller coaster of emotions. And so what has really helped you, stay consistent, stay steady, stay disciplined, stay focused, no matter all the different challenges that come being an entrepreneur?
Yeah. I guess the support, my family and friends are constantly telling me, you can do it. They're constantly reminding me. My best friend, Angela, I was on the phone with her when I was pulling up, and she's like, do I need to remind you who you are? And I said, yes, girl, remind me. Sometimes we forget, so it's just having people remind you your capabilities and looking back to see how much you've accomplished so far.
Yeah.
And to remind you, like, you did that, keep going.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day is remembering your why.
Yeah.
Your dream. You know,
Yeah.
You probably heard this a lot before, but it's fall in love with the process or with the journey. And come on, that is so true.
So good.
You know?
So
have to remember
good.
that.
I love it. I love it. How were you able to like define and detail your why and then clearly communicate that to people so they understand, oh, I get it. Why are you doing what you're doing?
Yeah. Okay. So January 2020, was it 2020? Yes. Okay. So at this point, you guys have to know I'm going through a lot of uncertainty. Okay. I want to start this business. I want to start my own law firm, but I'm going to be just getting out of law school.
Yeah.
I'm also half bought in with the idea that I need to work at a firm and make money.
Sure. Right.
Okay. And my amazing immigrant parents also don't want me to deal with financial insecurity. So they're kind of like, you should work first, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm hearing that from everybody. Work first. I'm going back and forth. I have this Excel sheet. I kid you not. I interviewed at over 70 places and I did not get hired.
From a single one?
Did not get hired.
They're crazy, but
Yes. I mean, to be
They're
honest,
lost.
I got some really, really lowball offers that were like really bad, you know, that I'm like, this doesn't make sense, where I would have to drive an hour out the way. So it was like, you know, I guess here and there, but nothing really significant that made sense for me.
Right.
And I remember reading psychology books about how I can be more presentable, what I can do better. And all this to also let you know that I'm highly accomplished and I'm in the top 10% of my class.
Wow.
So I'm just not getting hired.
Right.
So I thought something is wrong with me.
Right.
So I start wearing I bought a gray suit from Express.
Okay.
I'm like, I need to look very
Professional.
very professional. So I got that. I lower my voice in interviews. I have a firmer handshake. I'm not laughing or giggling as much.
Yeah.
I'm like, these are the things that are going to help me get the job.
Yeah.
And then I just found myself going in this depression, like something is wrong with me. So one day I'm sitting upstairs in my bedroom and I have my laptop and I said, Gaea, what is your ideal life? If you could dream of something crazy, what would it look like? Tell me one day in your life right now. So I write out this perfect day where I'm working a couple hours, managing my team. We live a life free of four walls. We are attorneys. We help entrepreneurs with the legal side of their business. We empower them. We give them a seat at the big table. They're sophisticated businesses. My team has this great culture, work-life balance. They love being there. We're all motivated. We're all valued. We're all entrepreneurial. And I write this all down. And it has to do with me being on the beach. So, and I said, okay, this is an ideal life for me. How can I make this happen? It's not working at any of those places that didn't hire me.
Yeah.
It's sticking to my virtual law firm. And I was like, Gaea, this is it. You have to do it.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's what I had to sit down and be real with myself and know myself.
Right. And also understanding that when you face rejection, that's actually God's protection, right? Because if you would have gotten yourself into the door at one of those places, who knows when or if you would have ever started GK Law Co., right? And I love this. Timing is everything, right? And God moves at just the right time. He's never late and he's never early, right? He's always on time. And you decided to launch a virtual law firm and then COVID hits.
Right.
What?
Right. January 2020. We actually launched in December. I started with my first client in January, made $300. I'll never forget this client. And I registered with the state in February. In March, we started having the COVID shutdowns.
Wow. And that probably was the best thing that could have helped you because you were already thinking, hey, we're virtual anyways. So this is the path that we're going down. I love that. And did COVID kind of help you then grow your business in that way?
I think COVID helped me not have to explain to people my business model and why it was acceptable to never see your attorney in person.
Yeah.
I mean, they see me in person from time to time, but I think I didn't have to explain the business model to them.
Yeah.
It was a norm, it's expected we do everything through Zoom.
Right. Right.
So it helped in that way. It was also my first year, so I'm not going to lie and say, oh, I made so much money my first year despite COVID. It was still a tough year.
Oh, yeah. And it always is. When was that time? Because I'm sure you had a couple different bumps in the roads, and I've certainly had those, whether it's Diverse Network or launching my firm as well. the effort that you're putting into your bank account doesn't reflect that. Like, you're like, I'm putting a lot of effort into this and my bank account should reflect that a little bit better, but it's not. Or like it's in the negative, or you got to take on debt. Like this is not looking how I thought it would look like.
Yeah.
And you're also trading your 9 to 5 to work 24/7.
Yeah.
So you got to be a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
I tell people that all the time. But like what, like you said, like, so year 1, year 2, year 3, when was it that you were like, all right, this is actually going to work? Because in the first year, like, I think this is going to work. I'm passionate about it. I'm trying to find clients. Like, what was the moment that you knew like, hey, this is going to work? And also what helped you get through those low, tough times in your business?
Yeah. I think when we talk about tough times in business in the beginning, we're thinking financial. That's like the biggest part, right?
Yeah.
And so my first year, I think I made $22,000, which was not a lot of money. And some of that was me being a contract attorney. So I never gave up, but I found ways to make money. If you're entrepreneurial, you know how to make money.
Yeah.
So I would do like contract work for other attorneys. I remember I used to write resumes for people. I was just hustling. What can I do to make money?
Yeah.
You know, and thankfully I have very supportive parents. My fiance was supportive too. So it's good to have a good backing, good, strong people around you. So that was the first year. I kept doing other things on the side.
Yeah.
My second year got better.
Okay.
I ended that year with 88,000 revenue.
Wow, let's go.
And it's good, but I still wasn't there where I wanted it to be financially. You have expenses, you know, operating costs and all that fun stuff.
That 88,000 goes by real quick.
You know it does. So I actually also took on a position as an adjunct professor at my law school. And I taught their entrepreneurship and law class.
I love it.
Which is cool. I'm like, this is great. I love doing this. I love entrepreneurship law. Let me teach it. So I got to do that. And then it was like probably June of my second year. So like mid-second year, where I realized I need to commit. I need to pick a path. Yeah. So this whole time, you can see I'm running my firm full time, but I'm also picking up side projects to supplement my income.
Right.
And then finally, that June, so midway in my second year, I was like, I'm starting to make money. I'm starting to pick up traction. Referrals are coming in. People are happy with my work. They're referring more people to me. I need to choose a lane and double down. Yeah. So this is when I quit all of my side projects and focused on GK Law Co. And then we surpassed the 6-figure mark going into the third year.
Oh, congratulations on that. That's huge. So you should be so proud of yourself.
I'm proud. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, speaking of that, what do you feel like that you're most proud of for getting where you are today?
Oh, man. That's a good question. There's most proud of, I think, is like my determination and just not giving up. Man, there's so many times I wanted to give up so bad, so many tears, so much insecurity involved. I didn't grow up, and I'm not trying to put my parents down in any way. My parents are very intelligent. They moved an entire country to give me better opportunities. You know, they did what they needed to do, but they didn't teach their immigrant kids about finances, how to make money in the United States, how to play the game. There's so much we don't know, you know, that we're figuring out. So they got me to where I needed to be, and I had to get myself to where I know I could be. Yeah. And so there are so many times that I wanted to give up, so many doors that were closed, so many times that things were taken from me, that, you know, no's I've heard, so many injustices and so on. But I'm so proud that I didn't care. I said, I don't care what anyone thinks about starting a law firm right out of law school or going to law school, taking on all that debt. I just don't care what people think because it feels right to me. A virtual firm, all these like things that I'm thinking of doing and people are saying no. I'm proud that I said yes, watch.
Yes. You know? Oh, I love it. That's so motivational to hear. And like I said, like, yeah, you should 100% be so proud of yourself. Like looking at the woman in the mirror to know that despite what other people are thinking, despite what society says, the way that you grew up, that's what I love about being an entrepreneur, is because you're paving your own path. But we also don't understand, like if you literally think about creating a new road, it's very dirty, it's very painful. And even creating a new habit, your brain is like, why are we doing this? This is not the easiest path. Why don't we go back to our old ways? Because that's what we know was comfortable, right? But you had to step outside of your comfort zone. You had to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes.
And you had to continue going and having that determination and never giving up. I love that in you. And that's very inspirational to hear.
Thank you. Thank you.